Okay, guys, gals, and those who identify as a pair of socks. I'm just picking around, but yeah, I'm tonight. I got out there and got kind of wet tonight. Actually, it's really been raining hard today, but I've taken the weekend off, and tomorrow I have to go back to work. I'm deciding to make a video. Been doing a lot of deep down research into a lot of things lately, and really getting down into the belly of some things lately. I mean, down into it and finding some things out. And this is just the way it's going to be. Now, this may not be sitting well with everybody else. You may not like it, but you know me, you know my channel. If you've watched me for a long period of time, I've always have tried to tell and warn people and try to put it out there, the information ahead of time for everybody to see what's coming and everything else. I've always done this, and within 6 months, I'm always right. So this will be happening within the next 6 months to a year. Okay, and as for the economy and the economic thing, why it's not crashed is totally beyond me. I don't know what's keeping the system propped up. I have no idea how it could possibly be running. I know things are getting cheaper, but with all the people living in hotel rooms and so many homeless people and stuff like that, I have no idea how it's even keeping on going, but it's going, and that's all I know. I mean, I know that there's a lot of things going on. Banks are having to do mergers now. A lot of car lots are going out of business. A lot of cars are sitting around not being sold. You've got a lot of issues going on. You got big car manufacturers doing layoffs. They're going slow time and everything else. And so it's a total mess. It's nothing but a crap show as far as economy goes. But this isn't going to be basically an economy video that I'm putting up. This video is going to be sort of what my last video was about a little bit, except I'm going to get a little more deeper into the subject of what's coming. Now this is what's going to really flip you out. Here's some things going to flip you out in this video. I'm going to pre-warn you. There's going to be some things in this video that's going to really disturb you. I've known about it for quite a long time, and I didn't know if this whole thing was a little bit far-fetched in the beginning. It's a little too far out there for my blood. It was a bit too erratic for me anyway to really come out and just say that this stuff is actually going to happen, because at the time when I found this out about 5 years ago, it was just way too much stuff. It was way too much. It would have been just me telling you something like that. You would have looked at me. You probably would have unsubscribed and thought I was crazy. But so here's what's going to happen. And I know you want me to shut up and get to it. So let's get to it. So here's what's going to happen. Okay, they're going to you remember during the pandemic. The pandemic was not really nothing. The pandemic was not really as much, let's say, as much. I can't say it wasn't a health concern, because it was a health concern. But the pandemic wasn't really as much a health concern. And it wasn't as much a whether or not you take the vaccine. It wasn't really whether or not what you would do with the vaccine. It wasn't really whether or not you would take whether or not you would actually stay indoors or not like that, or really it wasn't as much the pandemic, the COVID. It wasn't as much about it wasn't as much about the virus. It wasn't really centered around the virus. It was more or less, what can they get by with? What can they do? And what are we going to put up with? And how much control can they get over us, the people? So what can they get done? What can they accomplish on us? What can we get accomplished on ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Well, what will we take, and who will comply? It was a comply thing. It was control. Uh, a lot of companies got incentivized to be able to take the vaccine, and I'm not saying nothing at all bad about the vaccine. Okay, this video is not to rant anything at all bad about the vaccine. So let's get that off the table. There's nothing here being said about bad about the vaccine. Okay, YouTube. So I just want to be clear about that, because I know what happens when I do that. So, all right. So what this is about is, what did the government try to do? What extra things did they try to do? No going out in public for a certain period of time. Sit around the house 2-3 weeks, and then it turns into a month. And then when we can go back out, it's all lockdowns and 6 feet apart, and I can't have a mask off while I'm standing, but I can take my mask off while I'm going to sit down to eat. Don't even let my mask slip off my face a little bit while I'm in an airplane. It was just absolutely just wild, man, all this stuff, right? But all that stuff was nothing to do with the vaccine. It was a control thing. What can they do to control you? What can they do? What can they get by with? What are they capable of? What are we going to put up with? Okay? That's what it was. It was a control thing. It was an experiment. And the vaccine may or may not have come from a lab. It may or may not have been intentionally put out there. We don't know. But either way about it, it was there. And it was, at that time, a time that they could use that for an experiment. And like I said, I'm trying to make this a nice video. In that subject, so it was a time that they could use it as an experiment to find out what the next thing, what can they get by with, what kind of control can they get over you. Don't go out your house, don't walk your dog, don't all this stupid shit, pardon French, but all this stuff, the mask mandates, all this and that, it was all just a way of figuring out control, whether or not they can get you to actually take the jab. And it wasn't necessarily about corona. Well, yeah, I mean, there was some stuff there, but was it actually there to actually get you to take the jab? It wasn't as much about you. It wasn't as much about you actually doing them worrying about the COVID. It was about them worrying about control. Okay, so the next big thing that's going to happen, I'm gonna call this the pandemic. I'm gonna call it I don't think I want to word it pandemic part 2, but I think I'm gonna call it control. I think I'll probably call it, let's say, control experiment part 2. Control experiment part 2. That's probably what I call it, because really that's what it's going to be, another control thing and a control thing. So the pandemic was a precursor to lead up to what's going to be next. So what's going to be next? Let's finally get to the meat and potatoes. Okay, what's going to be next? Okay, let's get down. Let's get past the appetizer, the salad. Let's get past all that. Let's skip on that. Let's skip on to the meat and potatoes and the dessert already. Okay, so the meat and potatoes here is, fellas, that they're going to make it so that you have a digital ID. They're going to bring in a digital currency. I've looked it up. They're going to bring in a digital currency. They may even do away with your bank, and you may not have a bank anymore. You may have a central banking system digital currency, or central. Or if you do have a banking institution, the banking institution will be. It's going to be ridiculous. Really, your banking institution will be ridiculous. If, let's say, you're with Wells Fargo, you're with Bank of America, you're with some other kind of place like that, and I said it right, Wells Fargo. If you're with Wells Fargo, or you're with let's see, Chase, J.P. Morgan, you're with any of these people like that. They're going to be the big institutions. They're going to be taking the risk, putting out the loans. Going, bankrupt and stuff like taking on the bankruptcies and all that stuff. Okay, so but they'll still have a digital currency here in the United States. So what you would say, why do they want to take on digital currency? Because digital currency will allow them to get out of debt better. Digital currency will also allow them to track every single thing you do. They're going to be able to track every single thing you do. They're going to take any kind of money that you get from mowing grass, and they're going to take that money and they're going to look at every single thing you did. You'll be able to track every single thing you did, every single transaction. You'll have to sit here and I want to pay you to do something. I want to pay you to do something, so I have to sit here and type into a Cash App or PayPal or something like that, and I have to sit here and transfer the money over to digitally through a phone, and I have to sit here and like maybe tap something and so on and so forth. That's what it's going to turn to, digital. It's not going to be a physical money. That's the reason why, and I've already got a penny right here. That's why they did away with our little buddies called the pennies. You know what I'm saying? That's why our little buddies here called the pennies was done away with. They're trying to get it over to a digital currency. And they started with this right here. It started here. It goes to it started with the pennies. Next thing it comes in is the nickels, and it's not even going to be nickels next time. It's just going to be the whole thing. They're just going to do away with money. Physical money is going to be gone, and you'll have to deal with digital cash. I'm more okay with that than I am the next thing, because the next thing is what's really got me worried more than anything. All right, so they're going to track everything you do with your money, but now the digital ID thing. Digital ID. That's going to be another thing. They're going to use this thing here to go by digital ID. They're going to pull you into the system, and they're going to have you tracked everywhere you go. They're going to have flock cameras on every street corner. Those things are going to be able to tell where you're at. They're going to be able to read your conversation for 3 miles away. They got this new 6G thing coming in. The new 6G thing is going to be able to tell where you're at in your house, basically, because you'll have a phone in there. It'll be able to tell where you're at in your house, whether or not you're putting off this red type glow. They can even tell how fast your heart is beating, and if you got like a rhythmic type thing in your heart. That's what the new 6G thing's going to be, and it's coming in right now. Up my mama's way, up there by the airport, up in like Morgan area. They're right there close to, she don't live far from that airport actually, and right up there by that airport there's so much stuff going on that it is throwing the cell phone signals bad, and there's so many of these lines coming in to increase internet thing. And if you look it up, what it is, they're trying to expand internet to rural communities. Okay, so I told my mom, I said, well, that might actually be a good thing. I said, because if they do that, they could be cutting her own throat, because right now she's on a really more expensive type cell phone plan. And I told her, I said, whenever Verizon comes in your area, it's not going to be Verizon, it's going to be Spectrum, and we already got Spectrum there. And I said, when Spectrum comes in your area, and they all throw you an offer, I said, I'm telling you, if you'll get that deal, take the deal they're throwing you. I said that'd be like a $30 or $40 a month deal for a entire 2 years. And I said after that it goes up to like $60 a month. And I told her about it. I said it goes up like $60 a month. And I said, but if you do that, I said, I tell you what, I said I'll be able to get your phone plans cheap, really cheap deal. And I said you're going to be blown away how cheap I'll be able to get a phone plan for you if you take that deal. And because like I can get her like through Tello for like $5 a month. She can have a smartphone, and I get her through like Tello for like $5 a month for unlimited talk and text, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or something like 1,500 minutes a month, which is be about what she talks, or something like that. You know, I think Tello is unlimited talk and text for $5 a month. And so I told her, I said, you'll be able to have a smartphone, you'll be able to have your Wi-Fi, and I told her, I said, I can get you something so much better than what you got now. And the thing of it is, that's what they're trying to do, though, is they're trying to push in this digital thing, okay? This AI data centers, they're coming up in Mama's way, they're coming out your way. All right, so they're bringing in this digital surveillance system. They're doing it up my mama's way, they're doing it your way, they're doing it everywhere. They're trying to bring in this digital system, okay? Surveillance system. Okay, flight cameras on about flight cameras. I got a flight camera that's about a quarter of a mile from my not like really an eighth of a mile. An eighth, maybe no, it's about a quarter of a mile. It's just down the street. I found out there's a flight camera up here by the Exxon station, and I didn't even know it was there, but apparently it is. But I never passed by it. I go another way to come to my house, so I'm in good shape there. But the thing of it is, this whole thing is coming to you too, though. This whole thing is coming to you too. So the bottom line is, there's this big surveillance system of trying to track you and know everything you're doing. Okay, but here's the deal, though. They're saying that basically you won't be able to get a job, you won't be able to get on Facebook, you won't be on YouTube, you won't be on anything at all unless you've taken this digital ID thing. And now they're trying to push it into every single operating system. So, since they're trying to make it so that every single operating system has to do a digital ID, so now how do we get around this? Okay, so how do we get around this? And this, I can put this out before this whole thing happens, so you know. Anyway, so how do we get around this? Well, here's how we get around this. You just basically, you got two choices here. You basically got two choices here, okay? My flip phone's like over there, like in there. But anyway, my flip phone didn't work out too well. I tried it. It just didn't work out. I had to do something else. So, not that I liked it. It just like would go off signal for like a long time. I talked to Cricket. I said, what's the deal? Cricket said, those phones are just outdated. They don't work like they used to anymore. You have to have some kind of cheap smartphone plan, even if it's just talk and text through a smartphone. So, that's what Cricket told me. And I don't know how well it would work with the track phone system. I don't know how well it would work with the Telo system. But you don't have to have the internet with the smartphone. You can run the smartphone without internet. Just update it through a Wi-Fi signal. At a laundromat or something, or at work. Anyway, so here's how you do. Here's how we're going to do this, okay? What you'll need to do, and I'm going to just tell you like it is, what you'll need to do is like you'll need to, let's say, get a Raspberry Pi. You'll need to get some like old laptops or something like that, or a desktop, and you'll need to set up like a home internet type system at the house. You'll need to call Spectrum or somebody. You'll need to set one up at the house, basically. And what you're going to do, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a Linux operating system, Linux, okay? And you don't want to find that they're saying that all operating systems in the United States will require this check. So that means if you get either a Chromebook or anything, or Android or anything like that, it will require that. So basically, here's how you're going to get around that. Okay? So here's how you're going to get around that. Okay? So whenever I'm not going to say don't take the digital ID. I don't know how extensive this thing gets, but they're saying you might not even be able to work a job if you don't have that digital ID. But we also can look at it from that's a mark of the beast perspective too, because what does it say in Revelation chapter 13? They will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without taking a mark of man. The digital currency based system. So here's how you're going to do this. What you're going to do is you're just going to get online and you're going to download one of the operating systems. I'd say probably download Ubuntu, 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 and then install it, put it on your computer. And what you do, Ubuntu usually always is really good. It never really gives you no problem. I don't think they'll go along with this type stuff. They probably won't. I mean, even with the laws and everything, I doubt very seriously they'll go along with it. If they do go along with it, then you can try other ones. There's Mint OS. There's Mint. Then there's there's Peppermint OS. There's so many different ones. So you can go with one of them. Find one that doesn't require you to do an activation of doing an activated digital ID. Now, secondly, here's what you can do. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to be able to get around the digital ID. It's just the way it is. They're saying you can still use a physical card if you choose to, but what I'm seeing is they're saying that with the biometric system, they might require you to actually even have that to be able to get a job somehow. So here's the deal. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to get a phone like this. You're just going to basically get your track phone. Okay, just get your track phone. You're going to take it up front. Okay, you're going to get your card. You're going to get your track phone. You're just going to take it up front. And this is an old phone I had that I worked with to make it you know. I de-googled it. It made it something else. So this is just an old phone I worked with to kind of make it like that. And it's also an unlocked phone too, so I can put any carrier in it. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to get a track phone card. You're going to get your phone. You're going to take your phone up front. You're going to hand it to them, and you're going to tell. Well, you want to take it up front. You'll be back there in electronics. You'll tell them you're from out of town. Okay, so you don't want to do this at your local Walmart where they see you every weekend and they know you by the first name. You want to say you're from out of town, okay, and that you're traveling, so you can't activate it. Can they please activate it for you? They'll activate it, okay, right there. You hand them the card that you want to get. You buy the phone, and you hand them the card, and you buy the card, the minutes card, the plan card. So what I recommend you do is pretty much, let's say, 1 gigabyte, they have like a plan that's like 1 gigabyte. It's like $20 a month, 1 gigabyte talk and text, and or something like that. And then basically you're not going to look at YouTube when you're everywhere else. You're going to be only looking at YouTube and the internet when you're at home, because they know where you live at. You already got your ID here at the house. But everywhere you go, what you're going to do is you're going to turn off. You're going to go in here and you're going to turn off your data. You're going to turn it off. Okay. Now you need to program your phone. Now I'm going to tell you how to program your phone. Okay. So what you're going to do, here's what you're going to do. I was already playing with this thing a little bit. I put a little bitty I put like a second SIMS card in this thing to make it work, because basically there's a second line that I use that's like my mama's, you know what I'm saying? So basically I put that in here. Now what you're going to do, you're going to go in here, you're going to find the one you want to get, the person you want, and I'm going to make it so you can see this. Okay, so we're going to go in here just like that. And then we're going to scroll down, and you see, if you look right there, there's a little thing right there, and you might not be able to see it too well, but it says right in here. We're just going to do this. We're going to tap on the dot right up here, the person's like face, and then we're going to go down here. We're going to put it on SMS MMS. Okay, so that's how you're going to transfer your messages from one person to the next, so you don't have to use chat apps. Okay. No Messenger, no Signal, no Zangy, no nothing like that. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to update the phone. Now this phone so happens that I got a radio app right here. That's a radio app. So if I plug my earphones into it, I can listen to the radio. That's cool. And you can also put your solitaire in here, so you can play solitaire. You can do stuff like that to pass your time. Don't sit here and just be bored to death. And everything else. You got your calculator. You got your files. What you're not on the internet, so why do you need files? And then another thing you might want to do is, let's say, put you a couple of privacy browsers in there too. So let's say you want to put, this is Brave, and the other one would be Free Spoke. Okay, so you just want to put them in there, just some basic things, and then you're just going to call it done at that. You're going to put that in there and just going to call it done at that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to put that in there like that. You're just going to you're just going to have all the stuff in there for offline use, and then you're just going to use it. You're going to carry it, so you can call just fine. You can text just fine, whoever you want to text, but they'll have to be texting you at SMS. and then you're just going to use it. That's it. You know, you got your calculator. You can check the time. Look, it says what time it is right now, 11:40. That's at night. So yeah, I'm kind of a night owl. I'm a little bit more of a nighttime person, but still, 11:40 at night. At the time I get this thing uploaded, probably like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you're just going to take it and run with it, play with it from there. That's it. Okay, and then you're just going to have a home phone, home internet at the house with a Linux-based operating system, some type of Linux-based operating system that does not require additional ID, biometric systems, or not like that. You're just going to have, let's say, a Mint. You're going to have something like Ubuntu. You're going to have Zorin OS. You're going to have Puppy Linux. You're going to have some kind of Linux operating system with basically your burner cell, because this is not going to have any kind of name to you attached to it at all. And then what you'll do is you'll just basically get it started. You'll update it. You'll set basically don't, you know, if you do sign into your Google, what I recommend you do, if you do sign into your Google, then I recommend going in and just deactivate everything Google, everything, and then go up here. Let me do this one more thing. I'm getting ready to get off here. I don't make the video too long. Then one more thing you got to do, and while you're not using it at all, then you want to do this anyway, because you're not going to be using data. And if you can, just buy a text, just buy a card that's just talking text, no data. But it's always good to have the 1 gigabyte, just in case you have to look something up, you know, or something's out in the street. But right here, there's one thing right here. It's called mobile data. Turn that off. Okay. Another thing is you want to turn off turn on the Wi-Fi when you're using Wi-Fi at the house. Another thing is turn off locations, and you'll have to go into your settings for locations. Just turn off all locations. Don't let it locate you. Don't let it track you. Nothing. And just turn it all off. Turn off everything. Okay. And then just use the phone. Carry the phone, and just use the phone for texting and calling. That's it. Okay. And then as for, you know, cameras, stuff like that, I mean, hey, let's get real. We got no data going to this thing. So let's not get too tinfoil hat. We're not trying to do nothing illegal. We just don't want to have people knowing our business and being surveilled mass surveillance the whole time. And it's like, basically it's like Bill Gates said, you'll either take digital ID or risk exclusion. And basically what he's saying is, you'll either take the digital ID, or you will not be on Facebook, you'll not be on YouTube, you'll not be on none of this stuff, and you have to accept that. You can either accept that, or you can move on about your way. It's that simple. I don't like it. I know you don't like it, but it is what it is. It's not that I like it or you like it or anything else. That's not our choice. They're going to do what they're going to do. We can't stop it. Anyway, be good. Be good at it. Take it easy. I hope I didn't make the video way too long. But anyway, be good. Be good at it. Take it easy.